figure out what your ideal number is. You'd be surprised at how Welcome to the Entrepreneur Motivation Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Bello, and today we're talking about more money, more problems, true or false. And I don't think there's necessarily one answer or the other, so I'm going to kind of just tell you that from the start. But we always hear this more money, more problems, or more money, more problems. Is it true? I remember an interview of Dan Lok I had on my podcast. I had Dan on the show, and he talked about how more money means bigger problems. Your problems don't go away. You're just solving bigger problems. And then obviously bigger problems means bigger rewards and more money. And so that kind of was an answer of how your problems don't really go away. You just have bigger problems. I also heard Alex Hormozi recently say, I've been digging in on his podcast, on his YouTube videos. He said money's really good at solving money problems, but that's about it. We have other problems as well that are not necessarily money problems that we have to pay attention to. And that was also an interesting take because money can solve quite a few problems, but relationship problems, if you're a bad person, if you're not honest, money doesn't necessarily change those things. I've also heard it said that money really exposes who you are. If you're a genuine and generous person, you're charitable, you're going to give away more money. If you're a douchey person, self-centered, you don't care about others, that's also going to show. And there are people who are rude and terrible people that are, successful financially. And there are amazing people who are abundant and they give away a ton of money. They donate, they volunteer, all those things. So money just kind of makes the person inside come out more. It amplifies that, if that's the right word. I also heard a Kanye West quote. Kanye dropping some fire, some knowledge bombs here. So apparently this was in some interview he did or something, or some article, but I recently heard it a couple months ago. Having money isn't everything. Not having it is. I'm going to say that again because it's like a mic drop moment. Having money isn't everything. Not having it is. I think that's so true because if you think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we'll see if we can pop it up on the screen over here. From the bottom, we've got physiological needs. We need, air, water, food, safety, shelter, clothing, all those things. We've got safety needs on the next tier, personal security, employment, resources, all those types of things. On the next step is love and belonging, friendships, intimacy, family, sense of connection, followed by esteem. And again, we have to go from bottom to top. If you don't have those bottom needs, you're not going to be able to go up on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So esteem is more like respect, self-esteem, status, recognition. And then self-actualization is the desire to be the most that one can be. So if you are struggling to pay the bills, to keep a roof over your head, to put food on the table, like if you think of like homeless people who are literally sleeping in a tent and begging for food and trying to get enough money to afford food and water for today, they are not going to be worrying about love and belonging or self-actualization. They're literally trying to cover those basic needs of physiological needs, food, shelter, water, safety needs, of maybe having that's the next thing, right? Maybe they're in like a little bit of a camp with other people. That's some sort of safety. So again, having money isn't everything, but not having it is. And this kind of goes back to that thing. I mean, I don't know if more money means more problems necessarily. It's different problems as you go along. Another interesting stat that I just thought was relevant is, money is important because think of the divorce stats. According to some survey on this site called institutedfa.com, it's about the leading causes of divorce. Of course, there are the divorce, stats, like 43% of people divorced because they thought that there was basic incompatibility, 28% divorced because of infidelity, but 22% divorced because of money issues. I assume when finances are tough, if someone's not doing so great at pulling their weight and there's just, more month at the end of the money is a saying I've heard, that will not likely end well, and because it does put a lot of strain on a relationship. And anyway, let's talk about leveling up and continuing to grow. What got you here won't get you there. However much money you're making, however successful you are, you did certain things to get to where you are, but you have to consistently and constantly level up in order to grow to new levels, to have new breakthroughs. We are our own bottleneck and our own limit in many cases, and our businesses can only grow to the extent that we do. So oftentimes we're capped. We can only take the business so far. We may have to find someone else to bring in or put someone else in charge sometimes, or hire the right people who are smarter, who are more efficient at certain things, who know certain things better than us. It's like the jack of all trades, master of none, right? You cannot be good at everything. You've got to hire specialists who can get you to the next level sometimes. Like I don't do my books. I have a CPA to do all that stuff, right? And I don't even write all my own contracts and documentation. I have a transaction coordinator. That is all she does every day. That is her business. She is way better at it than I am. And so I have her doing that, for example, on my real estate transactions. So I kind of agree with everything that I've shared with you, the ideas around money that I've looked up and that I've shared today. Like, you will have problems if you have no money, like Kanye mentioned. Like Alex Hormozi mentioned, money can solve a ton of problems, but not all of them. Money's good at solving money problems. And then, like Dan Lok said as well on a previous podcast episode, you do get problems, like new problems, as you make more money. They're just bigger problems that you're solving, and therefore you have a bigger reward or bigger payout. And I would joke here that the types of problems you have as you make more money would be like, which Lambo do I want? But more realistically, the problems that you'd face are likely, how do I properly invest and grow this money? How do I guard it? How do I make sure I don't lose it? I heard, someone say this on another podcast, where as you start to acquire more stuff and more things and toys and boats and cars, you have to invest in, security and storage and safety and locking things up and making sure that you're protecting it, because now you have stuff that other people may want to damage or steal, or tires to slash. I don't know. It becomes a lot more stressful when you have to worry about taking care of and maintaining these different things. So those are other problems that maybe you wouldn't have if you were further below on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If you don't have all the stuff, you won't necessarily worry about it, because you're just worrying about the basic stuff: food, water, safety, shelter. But anyway, we have to really earn it wherever we go. Like lottery winners, we hear the story of how they tend to lose all their money and go back to where they were, or worse. They did not earn it. They did not become the people that they needed to be in order to manage and grow and invest that type of money. And so our thermostats will adjust. If we have not developed ourselves to be the person that we need to be to manage a certain area, if we get there, if we get that flash in the pan success, we're not going to be able to maintain it, because our thermostat's going to bring us back down to where we are comfortable, to what we know. There's a lottery stat that I saw online that said, according to the New York Daily News, 70% of lottery winners end up broke within 7 years. That's insane. But I think it goes to show that a lot of people who do this are not managing their money. They're kind of already, doing the scratch and sniff lottery ticket, hoping to win, having that quick win, overnight success, using air quotes here. And it's not sustainable, because again, they have not developed the discipline. They have not managed to grow that amount of money. They don't know how to invest it, and it goes out as quickly as it came. And then remember that thoughts become things. It's very important to guard your thoughts. What and how you think really does matter. And the thoughts that you think lead to actions that you take, because if you believe something's possible, you'll take action. If you don't believe it's possible, you won't take action. So it's important to guard your thoughts around money. Maybe you've got to, reprogram your wiring. If you think that people who have money are evil, or, money is the root of all evil, just reframe that and understand that the love of money is the root of all evil. There are good people and bad people who have money. There are good people and bad people who do not have money. Money in itself does not really mean anything. It's just a tool to make change more quickly in our life, maybe make things a little more convenient, a little easier. So that's kind of some of my thoughts around money. I am also working on reprogramming my beliefs around it. As I've mentioned before, I struggle with that whole, do I really need that much money? Like, how much money do I need to be successful? Like, what's my ideal number? Figure out what your ideal number is. You'd be surprised at how much lower it likely is. There was an exercise that we did, some friends and I, and it was like an exercise to figure out, think of your most lavish, amazing lifestyle, getting 2 massages a week, driving a Lamborghini, living in a mansion, having a sauna in your house. Like, think of it all. And you can kind of reasonably estimate and look up the costs for these things on Google and put it all into a spreadsheet. Figure out, what would the monthly payment be on the Lambo? What would the monthly payment be on the house? What would the 2 massages a week run you, assuming you include like 20% gratuity or 30% gratuity if you're feeling extra abundant? And I think for me, when I did this exercise, and of course, this was pre all the crazy inflation and stuff, so I don't know, the number may have changed slightly, and also not considering taxes, but I think my number was like $270,000 a year. So if I look up that, I'm just going to $270,000 a year divided by 12 for like $22,000 a month. I think this was pre-tax if I did it right. And of course, whatever, maybe I have to factor in taxes, rounded up to 300K. That is not an insane amount of money. And to you, you may be like, dude, that's insane. How does anyone make that money? Or maybe you're like, oh yeah, I'm almost there. Cool. Either way, it doesn't matter. But most of us assume you have to make $10 million a year to live that kind of badass life, when in reality, 300,000 is less than half of that amount, right? You don't have to make, right? Did I say 10 million or 1 million? I can't remember. You do not have to make $1 million a year to live this amazing life. And maybe if you don't even want the Lamborghini or the mansion, you just want like a tiny home out in the woods somewhere, dude, you're there even faster, right? So do that exercise. I guess I have a spreadsheet for it. I mean, if you DM me, I can see about sending it out or making a landing page for it or something. It was just something I had created for myself, literally description of what I want, how much it costs per month, the total cost, and how much I could reasonably expect to pay on an annual and monthly basis, just to get an estimate of like what that dream life would really cost. Your TMI is, I think what it's called. This is a Tim Ferriss exercise from 4-Hour Work Week. Your total monetary income or target monthly income. That's what it was. Target monthly income. So anyway, that's it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, leave comments if you're in YouTube below. That's the best way to get a hold of me, just so we can stick to the topic of the video. DM me if you got any questions as well. I do try to check those as frequently as possible. I am on Instagram, chrisbello_, or you can go download my free guide if you have not, the Complete Life Tracker. This is a cool Excel file that I made where you can track everything in your life that's important, your daily activities, your meditation, your stuff that you're working on for your personal, your business goals. So that's at chrisbello.com/free. We'll redirect you to chrisbello.com/complete-life-tracker. So go check it out. With that said, that's it for today. Thanks so much for your time. I will look forward to the next episode, and I'll catch you on the next episode of the Entrepreneur Motivation Podcast. I am getting tongue twisted here, so I'm going to wrap it up. Talk soon.